Welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. With over 20 years of real estate experience and selling over 150 homes a year, Laura Sanders is the #1 RE/MAX agent in the state of Florida for 2021. Join us each week as we discuss how to make money through buying and flipping homes, to renting versus selling, and everything in between. To join the conversation, call in live 888-994-4995, Studio A.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. Every week, we talk about something to help you make a little money, save a little money, or maybe just help you navigate this crazy world that we live in. And boy, oh boy, as I say every week, it is crazy. Today, we're going to have Danielle Matthews, a certified appraiser, on today to talk about what's going on in the market. Are we seeing decreases in prices? Are we seeing increases in prices? What is going on currently in the market? Again, Danielle Matthews, residential appraiser. Welcome, Danielle.
Hi, Laura.
Hi. So I know that we've talked in the past about what's going on in the market, and I know that you have mentioned on some occasions that you're seeing that we're in a downward turn in the market. So I figured, well, let's everybody hear what you have to say, because even rentals, on the way here, I'm talking to somebody and I said, she says, oh, well, I want $2,000. I said, you're not going to get $2,000. Well, I said, I'm going to bet that was 2022. She says, how'd you know? Because rentals were expensive and now they're coming down. So tell us what you see.
Everything is coming down right now for the most part. I mean, there are certain pockets of neighborhoods or certain types of homes that are still stable or increasing. But for the most part, I would say Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach are declining. And one thing that I am seeing is declining sale prices and increasing list prices, which makes no sense because the days on the market are on the rise as well.
Wait, explain. So you're saying your people are listing their properties for more money?
Yeah, it's funny because when I look at the trends over 12 months, the list prices are just climbing, and yet the sale prices are declining. So there's a lot of sellers that still need a reality check about what's going on in the market.
So give us an example of an area that you've seen recently and what the percentage looks like. Because I don't think sellers understand percentages when it comes to a declining market and what that looks like.
Right. And like I said, every market is different. And when I say market, it could be, condos are declining or changing differently than single family houses. Duplexes, triplexes, those are also, it's just a changing market in general. So I'm seeing, whether it's in a neighborhood or in a condo complex, for the most part, the list prices are on the rise. I have a chart that I import the data into from the MLS, and it breaks it down 0 to 6 months, or 0 to 3 months, 4 to 7 months, and 7 to 12 months. And you can see on the chart, just the list prices are going up, but yet the sale prices are coming down, which is leading to longer days on market, which is not always a good thing. Because, when your list time goes from less than 90 days to between 3 and 6 months, and sometimes it's closer to 6 months, that's not a good thing.
So basically, what I tell sellers is you don't want to chase $1 and then lose $2. So by making that mistake, because what I've also explained is that if there's a property that's listed in the neighborhood that is similar to your property and it's listed for less, and you go to appraisal, the appraiser is going to make note that other properties in the community are listed for less money. So even if there are sales to substantiate and there's multiple homes listed under you, then that could affect your appraisal as well, where it's a changing market and a changing way on how y'all do the appraisals.
Yes, it's definitely a changing market. I mean, everything is changing every 2 to 3 months. I'm seeing big changes. Um, when you go to do a purchase appraisal, and let's just say there's 5 models in your neighborhood, and I can find 4, 5, 6 listings that are the same model or very similar, and they're listing for significantly less than you're under contract for, that will impact your appraisal. Because why would somebody pay you, let's say 500,000, when they could go buy another townhouse in the development for 475 or 65, and it's a model match or very similar? You're probably not going to get your sale price if there's, one low listing isn't going to kill you. But when you're seeing 3 and 4 and 5, and inventory is on the rise, I mean, when you have 6, 12 months of inventory and most of them are priced below your list price, it's going to impact your appraisal.
So are you seeing more short sales or foreclosures quite yet?
I have definitely seen distress on the rise. Um, like I said, when I import the data from the MLS, it not only shows me the trends with the closed sales, it shows me the listings, and it shows me the short sales. And well, I should say the REO in general. So that's REO bank owned and distress short sales. I'm seeing on average 5 to 10% of the sales in an area have distress. And I just in the last couple of weeks have been getting more and more phone calls from private homeowners who are calling me to do a private appraisal for them, for their bank to approve their short sale.
That's a new one, actually, because they didn't used to do that. So now they're telling them to go get an appraisal to
Yes.
justify the sales price? Because
To justify the list price to put it on the market as a short sale.
interesting, because usually like you'll go on the market as a short sale and I have to tell buyers, hey, this is a short sale, but the agent just picked that number out of the sky. Most times that's how it was in the past. They pick these numbers out of the sky. We get to contract, and then the bank does what's called a BPO, a broker's price opinion. And then it comes in that the property's worth more, because by the time they might even get an offer on a short sale, your appraisal, and by the time the bank looks at everything, because a short sale is definitely not short in time, right? By the time they look at it, your appraisal could be like, it could be worth less than what you came in at.
Yes.
So-
and again, it's detailed in the appraisal as far as not the exact percentage of the decline, because that fluctuates month to month. But, it'll say overall declining market, 11.5 months of inventory. So the bank understands for the most part that in 3 months, 6 months, it's most likely going to be worth less.
The problem is I don't think a lot of people understand it. I don't think they know how to read it. And I think that it almost like needs to be in like red. Because I'm telling you, people, what's the one thing that happens to you? People look at your appraisal, they look at the number, and what do they not do?
Read the comments that I write. They open the appraisal, they look at the number, and then they flip out and say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I have 20 other listings in this area priced far more than I'm at, than this price. And I'm like, yeah, that's great that everybody is priced 25% above market value. It's not helping you. Just because they're listed doesn't mean that's what they're going for. And I think that that's a really important thing for people to understand. I'm probably the most frustrating comment that I get as feedback is, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know how to price things like a realtor does. I'm not pricing it to put it on the market. I'm telling you what it's worth after it's been on the market. So, just because your realtor comes in and tells you to list your condo for 225, it's ultimately going to sell for 195 to 205. They're just wanting to be competitive with everybody else, and they don't want to give you the realistic price because you potentially wouldn't list with them if you came in and said, hey, I think your condo's only worth 195.
I'm very honest. I say, let's start at this price. you're not going to sell at this price, but let's feel the market out. Let's see what number generates the most showings, which will generate an offer. And I find that typically you have to move fast, but it will preserve the price in the end. In my opinion, that's just how I see it based on what I do. Because a lot of times, like somebody says, oh, I see that you've reduced the price so many times. What's wrong with the house? Well, every seller wants the most for their house. So I feel like sometimes we have to show them that you're asking this. Would you feel good if I put your house on the market and sold it tomorrow right away? I wouldn't.
Probably not in this market.
No, I would feel like, wow, you sold it so fast, you must have undersold it.
Right.
So
You
my
didn't give
thing
enough
is,
people time to look at it.
right. That's why I love the coming soon, because that gives people time to generate interest, and the numbers will come in at what they need to come in at. That's the problem, though. When everybody's coming in at the same number and a seller is still like, nope, I'm not selling it for that. In the past, what I saw, and when I say the past, let's talk 2012, which totally different market than 2008, totally different market than 2015, extremely different market 2021, right? 2012, if you said to me, Laura, I want $510,000 for my house, so I want you to list it for $525,000, and I'm like, but it's really worth $490,000. What would happen is during that 6-month cycle, it would become worth $510,000 because the market was slowly inching up. Now, if you say to me, Laura, I want $510,000 for my house, I want you to list it for $550,000, and I'm waiting for that $510,000. Now it's worth $480,000.
Yeah.
So it's understanding the market and listening to the professional when they talk to you. And sometimes when I'm having the conversation, I have some people that are like, wow, I really like what you have to say. And I have some people going like, I don't like what you have to say. I didn't make it up. I don't make the market. You don't make the market. What do? We read the market.
I report it.
Right. And I say that it's a science with a little bit of opinion. It has a little bit of opinion, but it's pretty scientific. Do you have a pool? Do you have a pool? Do you have water? Do you have water? How big is your square footage? How big is your square footage? Are you updated? Are you updated? Do you have impact? Do you have impact? How old's your roof? How old's your roof? Like, pretty straightforward, right? And I went on an appointment, and they said to me the reason why they picked me over every other realtor that they interviewed was because I was very detailed on showing them how I derived at my number. And they were like, it made sense to us. And that's what I try to do. I try to make sense out of it. Well, I'd like to make dollars out of it, really, but. So what other things can you recommend to our listeners? Because whether it be sellers, buyers, or realtors, what would you recommend to them?
Just in general, really understand the market that you're going into. And I understand that as a realtor, you're not going to know everything about every market that you're getting a potential listing in, but do your due diligence. Pull, 12 months worth of sales and then narrow that down to 6 months and then 3 months and look at your inventory. And maybe even give me a call if you have a question, because if you're a realtor that I work with regularly, I'm happy to answer your questions.
And if they aren't a realtor that you normally work with, obviously you do discounted appraisals for people that are paying out of pocket. What is a good number for them to reach out to you to?
You can reach me on my cell at 954-263-1312. And I'm always happy to talk to you about what's going on in your neighborhood.
Okay. We're going to go to commercial break, but when we come back, we'll talk about anything else that might be imperative to know when it comes to appraisals. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
All roads lead home with Fairway Home Mortgage. When it comes to home financing, who you work with matters. At Fairway Home Mortgage, we combine the strength of a national lender with the care and accessibility of local mortgage experts. We offer a wide range of home financing solutions, personalized guidance, and a streamlined process designed to keep things simple, from application to closing. Because at Fairway, home isn't just what we finance, it's what drives everything we do. Connect with Cliff Bernstein, branch manager, NMLS number 7853 at 561-213-6852 to see what your options are today. Company NMLS number 2289. This is not an offer to enter into an agreement. Not all customers will qualify. Subject to underwriting approval, other terms and conditions may apply. Equal housing opportunity. Loan officer NMLS number 7853.
At JK Closing Attorneys, we do all of the same things that a title company does, but with the benefits of being a law office. We can help with residential real estate, short sales, commercial real estate, refinances, 1031 exchanges, and FIRPTA withholding.
Contact JK Closing Attorneys today at 954-332-3111. Again, that is 954-332-3111.
Priority One Credit Union of Florida is a welcoming credit union that makes your financial success our number one priority. We offer lower loan rates, higher deposit rates, and common sense local loan approvals, with nationwide access through shared branching.
Hi, I'm Dina Hennessy, President and CEO at Priority One Credit Union. We are open to the community. Anyone can be a member of our credit union, and we would love to have you.
Contact us today at 954-335-5100. You can also reach us at PriorityOneFL.org. Your financial success is our priority. That's 954-335-5100.
You have been watching Making Money with Laura. For more information, contact Laura Sanders at 954-650-0827 or visit her website at theloracell.com. And now back to the show.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. Every week, I talk about something that will help you make a little bit of money, save a little bit of money, or maybe just help you navigate this crazy world. And today, we're talking about appraisals. And most people want the most money they can get for their house, and they don't really care what the appraiser says. This is what they feel their house is worth. And the bottom line is then don't sell. That's the bottom line. Here with us today is Danielle Matthews. She's a certified appraiser. Can I talk or what? I haven't even started drinking yet. Certified appraiser. And I figured let's talk about condos. What is going on in the condo market? And how is that affecting appraisals with this whole surf side?
So it has definitely had an impact on condos and values and the appraisals in general. I would say special assessments took a toll on the South Florida market in general and has really just changed a lot of the condo complexes and the values in general. I get a lot of calls where people are like, oh, but in 2023, units were selling for, and it's like, we're not that market anymore. And you guys just had a special assessment of, $10,000 and potentially another one coming up. So all of that impacts values going forward because, a buyer really needs to know what the monthly maintenance fee is going to be. And when that's constantly increasing, some of them are just crazy high, like over $1,000 a month, where they used to be, 400, maybe 5. So it's really priced a lot of people out of the condo market in general.
Everybody has to pay. Well, you don't have to pay for cable with streaming these days, but most people have cable, right? Most people need their lawn cut. Most people need their pool taken care of. Most people need insurance for their building. So when you start to take all of these things and add them together, it kind of makes it a little bit more palatable, I would say. So for me to go in carefree, no maintenance, because it's a lot of maintenance to tell you. When I come home at work at nighttime and I look at the outside of my house and I'm like, oh God, I got to clean the windows. Oh God, I've got to, pick the weeds. When you live in a condo, you don't have to do any of that. It's done for you. Somebody's out there manicuring the lawn, taking care of the pool, making sure that everything looks good. Somebody else is out there shopping for insurance for you, making sure that they're getting the best policy. Somebody else comes in, they're supposed to come and fix, like if there's a plumbing leak in the wall, that's all on the condo. Where in your own home, imagine your plumbing breaks in your house and next thing you know, you're walking in puddles of water. That's on you. That's all you. So I like to always look at the bright side. But come January 2027, we're getting ready for some changes again with the condo industry.
Yeah.
Number one, we're going to go through full reviews. So where we had partial review before, when you put down 20 or 25%, you could put 50% down, no longer going to be. So if you're thinking about buying a condo, I would tell you, try to get in there and get that done now. Most of the assessments, I believe, have really been brought to fruition at this point in time. And as such, I think people are going to start seeing that they're going to get some deals on the condos. But
I agree. Once these special assessments are paid off, yes.
Yeah, because I was actually looking yesterday. I had a buyer. ChatGPT said that they should call Laura Sanders when it comes to looking at property in Coconut Creek. So thank you, Chat. So I had made some appointments for him. He is buying his son a condo, but he wanted some certain requirements. Number one, he wanted to be able to eventually rent it, whether it's a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. He wanted to be able to know that you can rent it. A lot of condos in Coconut Creek, they can never be rented. So then the next thing is this particular condo had a minimum down payment requirement of 10%. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't think there's people running around. It's a $245,000 condo. I do not believe people are running around with, and this is just your down payment, not your closing costs, $25,000 for a down payment. People are not running around with $25,000 to put down. So I believe that shrinks your buyer pool. And as such, I said, let me point out to you, what I was noticing is it looked like we were seeing a 2% decline per month in the condo market in and about that area. And I feel like I went specifically because in Coconut Creek, in certain areas, there are so many different ones to choose from. They all have different down payment requirements, different rental requirements, different this, different that. Everything is different. So you're trying to find, you can't compare a property that can be rented and has no minimum down payment to a property that can never be rented and has a 20% down payment. So I would imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, as an appraiser, you have to start researching all that information, which realtors seem to not like to make that ready available.
Yeah, it's definitely challenging to do an appraisal and use comparables from other competing projects that you're not able to talk to the management company because you don't necessarily know all the ins and outs. So, I mean, for me personally, I try to stay inside that complex because that matters. And those things absolutely matter. No different than 55 and older to non-55 and older, rentals allowed to non-rentals allowed, totally different.
Last week, I talked about professionalism, the lack of. And I believe you had mentioned to me, because I said, I don't understand how I can call a realtor that's come out to one of my listings to see it, and they can't call me back with feedback. And you said to me, I'm literally just calling them to verify a sale, and they won't call me back. Like, how hard? And you're sending them a text,
Text, email, a call, whatever, and I get no response. They use their cell phone to take the pictures of the unit. They didn't take a picture of the kitchen or, something important, the bathroom, the kitchen. And you're just asking them a simple question and they don't even have the
courtesy to call back, to say anything. And that is frustrating. And this is important in our industry that we get back with appraisers when they're calling us for information. So if you're thinking about selling your home, you need a certified appraisal. You definitely want to give Danielle Matthews a call. If you did not catch her information earlier, reach out to me at 954-650-0827. I'll be more than happy to connect you with Danielle if you're looking for an appraisal or if you're looking for a realtor to help you buy or sell a home. or get a property out there rented, or you're looking to buy a big building, we can help you with that. So again, my name's Laura Sanders with RE/MAX Direct. And again, like always, thank you very much for watching and listening to Making Money with Laura Sanders. And until next time.
Thank you for tuning in for Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. To join the conversation, call us at the studio, 888-994-4995 Studio A, or contact Laura directly at 954-650-0827. Laura Sanders, a name